Hello and welcome to this session. And in this session, we shall understand how to answer this very important HR interview question. What are your weaknesses? Well, this could be one such question that could catch you off guard in case you are not prepared for this question. And let me tell you that the same question may also be asked like this: what areas do you think you need to develop further? After all, this question is asking about your weakness. Or the question may also be asked like this: can you tell me about an attribute you are working on improving? Well, this question may seem to be sugar coated, but then basically the interviewer through this question is asking about your weaknesses. Or the question may also be asked like this as to: how do you handle situations where you feel less confident or incompetent? Well, that way the question may be asked in any of these ways, but then irrespective of the way in which the question has been asked, basically the interviewer is trying to inquire about what really are your weaknesses that may impact your performance in the job role. How to really answer this question? Let me tell you. Even before I tell you as to how you need to answer this question, first it's important for you to understand as to why this question is really being asked by the interviewer. Well, the interviewer may be utilizing this question to evaluate your self-awareness levels and your capacity to introspect regarding certain qualities in which you might be requiring an improvement or an enhancement. Well, that way, this question serves as a means for the interviewer to gauge your honesty and integrity. The interviewers shall closely observe whether you candidly acknowledge your genuine weaknesses or simply try to portray your weakness itself as a strength, thereby undermining your honesty in the process. Well, through this question, they aim to assess whether you actively confront and address your weaknesses, or if you just tend to overlook them as though the weaknesses are not there at all. Well, by evaluating your response, the interviewer can gauge your proactive mindset and your openness to learning and acquiring fresh knowledge. Well, the purpose of this question is for the interviewers to assess the alignment of your weakness with the specific skill set required for the job role. Well, they want to determine whether your weakness might in some way negatively affect or impede your ability to perform effectively and deliver your responsibilities of that particular job role. By seeking out for such weaknesses in you, the interviewers try to ensure that there are no such significant weaknesses that might impede your ability to work harmoniously with your colleagues. Well, that way, this question serves as an assessment of your capacity and your willingness to engage in self-reflection and in introspection regarding your own performance. By evaluating your response, the interviewer gains to seek insights into your ability to effectively communicate and articulate your areas of improvement, as well as your willingness to engage in self-improvisation and self-evaluation. All said and done, the interviewer may be asking this question, which would enable them to explore the potential areas for improvement and ascertain whether the company can actually provide you with additional training or any other additional support so that you can overcome your weakness. Basically, this question provides an opportunities for both you and the interviewer to discuss and assess if the organization can adequately support your professional development so that you can overcome your weaknesses. All said and done, any of these could be the possible reasons as to why this question is being posed to you. But then what you really need to be careful is to answer this question tactfully. How really should you answer this question? Let me tell you. Even before I tell you as to how you need to answer this question, what is more important for me to highlight to you is the common mistakes that are normally committed by the freshers while answering this important HR interview question. Well, one such common mistake is claiming that there are no weaknesses at all. Well, just in case you happen to claim yourself to be a perfectionist and that you have absolutely no weaknesses, could be perceived as being insincere. Well, it also indicates a lack of self-awareness in you. what is really more important for you while answering this question is to be genuine. Now that I have asked you to be genuine and honest, it doesn't mean that you need to be overly self-critical or overly self-deprecating to the extent that you excessively emphasize only about your weaknesses that could actually give rise to doubts about your ability to perform effectively in the job role that you are aspiring for. Well, all that I really want to communicate to you is that you need to strike a balance and maintain a constructive approach while discussing about your weaknesses. Well, you should be careful that your responses will not undermine your candidacy for the job role itself. One thing that you really need to keep in mind is that the interviewers are experienced and skilled enough at detecting insincerity. Hence, my recommendation to you is to remain honest and sincere while answering this important HR interview question. Well, it is also important for you to avoid providing a generic or a cliche answer. What I mean to say is that normally freshers tend to project their strengths as weaknesses by claiming that they are too hardworking and that happens to be their weakness, or that they are perfectionists and they go into detailing and that happens to be their weakness. Well, you know that in case you happen to project your strength as weaknesses, then it only means that you are not being sincere. Moreover, such generic answers are so overused that they lack authenticity, and hence what you really have to strive for is to provide genuine examples and indeed discuss about your weaknesses. But then what you need to be careful about is not just mentioning your weaknesses, but you should also make an equal effort to state as to what steps you have taken to improvise upon your weakness areas. Well, just in case you mention only weaknesses and fail to mention the steps that you have undertaken to improvise upon them, could create an impression that you are a complacent person and that you are not fully committed to your personal growth. While it is essential for you to acknowledge your weaknesses, it is also equally essential for you to mention the steps that you have taken or are currently undertaking to address your weaknesses and enhance in those areas. All said and done, it is important for you to be avoiding to share such weaknesses that are critical for you to perform effectively in your job role. After all, if you will mention such weaknesses which directly impact your performance in the job role, then obviously there would be a doubt at the back of the interviewer's mind about your candidacy itself. Instead, what you should be focusing on is about such weaknesses that are not directly aligned with your performance in the particular job role. All that I would wish to say you is that when this question is posed to you, you must reassure the interviewer about your ability to excel in the specific job offered by the company. All said and done, all of these could be the various mistakes that are normally committed by the freshers while answering this important HR interview question. And now that you are aware of all of these, that you would not be committing such mistakes. Well, all said and done, these happen to be my tips for you to answer this important HR interview question. So, I'm sure that in this session, you have been able to understand as to how you need to address this very important HR interview question. Well, being prepared is the key to success in your HR interviews, and if you'll really have to prepare yourself substantially, then all that you need to do is to continue watching this video series. I shall meet you with a new HR question and how you need to answer the question in my next session. Thanks for watching. Let's meet again in my next session.